Hello everyone, my name is Farah Nadiah binti Makno and I recently completed my 2-month practicum at Suhaimi Yahya & Co. in Alostar, Kedah. Since my practicum ended about a week ago, I wanted to take some time to reflect on my journey and share my experience, the lessons I have learned, and how this practicum has shaped me. This was actually my very first working experience in my life. Naturally, before I started, I felt extremely nervous and full of what if. What if I couldn't survive here? What if the staff gave me so much work that I couldn't handle? And what if my supervisor scolded me because I didn't know the answer? So this thought really made me anxious, but Alhamdulillah, the reality turned out to be so much better than my expectation. From the first day itself, I realized how supportive and welcoming the environment was at this firm. The staff were very friendly, approachable, and always willing to guide me. They didn't treat me just as intern who came and went, but they also made me feel like I was part of them too. This welcoming atmosphere has really helped me to overcome my nervousness. Instead of being scared, I became motivated and excited to learn new things. Every day I came to the office with the mindset of wanting to gain new knowledge and experience because I knew I would be supported along the way. One of the main areas that I was exposed to was conveyancing. Before this practicum, I only knew conveyancing in theory, but here I got to see how it is done in real life. I learned that conveyancing is essentially about transferring the ownership of land or property from one party to another party. And this involves important documents such as Form 14A under National Land Code, as well as sale and purchase agreement. I was guided on how these documents are prepared and submitted, and I came to understand the importance of accuracy in this process because even a small mistakes can cause delays. Apart from that, I also learned on how to draft a tenancy agreement. It was very new for me, and it made me realize that legal drafting requires not just the knowledge of law, but also a clear and practical language so that both parties can understand their rights and obligations. I was also exposed to the process of discharging a charge, which happens when the borrower has finished paying their housing loan and the bank's charge over the property has to be removed. This gave me a clear picture on how banks and lawyers work together to update the land records. Besides conveyancing, I also had the opportunity to learn about litigation. One of the legal assistants at the firm guided me and shared her experiences since she has been practicing litigation for a long time. She gave me case files to read and understand. Some of the cases I was exposed to involve guardianship proceedings, where a creditor tries to get money from the debtor through third party like a bank, and also cases involving public auction. Through these files, I could see how court process the work in practice, from filing document to enforcing judgment. It made me realize that litigation requires a lot of patience, research, and attention to detail. Another big area of learning for me was probate. My supervisor is actually an expert in probate, and she spent a lot of time teaching me about its process and its importance. Probate is about managing and distributing the estate of a deceased person. It involves making sure that property and money are properly divided according to the law. Sometimes, this includes calculating the shares for heirs under Farah 8, and my supervisor even gave me tasks to calculate the distribution of property and money to the rightful heirs. This task was quite challenging but interesting at the same time because I could see how theory of Farah 8 is applied in real cases. I also learned that probate can be a long process. It starts with submitting Form A through my land system, and it continues until court finally issues the probate order. This really opened my eyes about the importance of accuracy, patience, and communication with clients during the process. One of the tasks that I frequently handle almost every week during my practicum was An-Naklu. This process is related to car loans where a client signs a Murabahah sales contract with Bank Kerjasama Rakyat Malaysia and Alostar branch. After the agreement is made, Bank will then appoint our firm as their agent to complete several important steps on their behalf. The steps include preparing and arranging the stamping of documents through LHDN system, filing the power of attorney in EFS Kehakiman system, as well as organizing all the required supporting documents. Once everything is completed, these documents are then sent back to the bank for their records and further action. At first, this seems like a very routine task, but after doing it consistently, I realized how important it is to be accurate and systematic. Even one mistake in uploading the documents could delay the whole process for a client and bank. So this task really trained me to be more careful, disciplined, and detail-oriented in my work. Okay, looking back, I can say that these 2 months at Suhaimi Yahya & Co have been a priceless journey for me, as I learned things that I could never fully understand just by studying in class. Here I got to see the law in action and understand how theory is applied in practice. Most importantly, I am very grateful for all the staff and my supervisor who always guided me, supported me, and treated me kindly throughout the practicum. They made this experience not only educational but also very enjoyable. Overall, I can confidently say that I love working here, and I hope one day I will have the chance to meet and work with them again. Maybe in a professional capacity as a future lawyer, inshallah. Thank you.